Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, guys. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, put your notifications on, all that great stuff, guys. We've got a big show coming up for you today. We're going to be talking about the takeover process with Manchester United. What is going on with this, guys? There's news about Manchester United and a potential takeover in 2027, according to Laurie Whitwell. We're going to get into that very, very soon, guys. But yes, guys, I am over here in the UAE. And obviously, the biggest news coming out of Manchester United is that there is a potential investment group that are willing to invest in Manchester United. Who are those people? We're going to get into that right away, guys. Guys, look, you know what? There's going to be a lot of rumors. There's going to be a lot of false information as well. I did not do my show yesterday in the evening. I was out there finding information, what's going to happen, what's going on with Manchester United over here in the UAE. Of course, I'm in Abu Dhabi at the moment, as people know me. Now, there are two possible routes here, which stood out for me in regards to the investment. One of those were the Legatum Group. The Legatum Group are a investment group from Dubai. Now, the Legatum Group, they invested in numerous amounts of activities and companies over here in the UAE and abroad as well. They are owned by a gentleman called Christopher Chandler. This guy is the guy who is the CEO of Legatum, and he basically invested in a company that called GB News. GB News is a UK TV channel which has come to the fore with their controversial views and stuff like that over the last few years. Of course, GB News didn't. Piers Morgan was was part of them as well, guys. They've got a few other investments as well in Japan and China and India, of course, and they've got a number of mainly multimedia TV channels, etc. And they are. Really, they are the funder of Alliance for Responsible Citizenship as well, which are quite potent. I mean, this is what we're talking about here. So they invested in GB News, guys, and they invested in other esports as well, the gaming platforms. That's a massive thing as well. So they invested. They're not no stranger to media and TV. Sport, however, is a little bit different. Legatum invested in the mobile Premier League EA Sports game. So that's the only sporting entity that they've invested in, which was the mobile Premier League eSports or EA Sports, which it used to be called, of course, guys. So they are a multi-billion company, of course, with 80 million, 1,440 projects across 107 countries. So no stranger to investments. They are an investment company at the end of the day. Nothing solid, guys. Nothing solid in regards to this. But this is something that I'm hearing about over here in the UAE, which is the Legatum Group. Now, when everyone says about investments, investment groups and consortiums, people automatically think about the government. They automatically think about the government. They automatically think, you know what, the government of UAE or the government of Dubai, the government of Abu Dhabi is going to invest. But there are other huge investment companies in the UAE that are not connected to the government, so to speak. Everyone is kind of connected. I've had a business over here, and you have to be obviously approved. But there are other huge companies that are investment group that could be investing instead of like the government. Now, the go-to rumor is obviously the ICD, which is the investment group, the Investment Corporation of Dubai, to be exact. Now, the Investment Corporation of Dubai is government-owned. That is one of the biggest investment entities in the UAE, with 1.4 trillion investments around the world. So basically in money terms. Now, they are responsible for the conventional and Islamic banks, financial exchange, of course, and other hospitality and leisure services, of course, including hotels and transportation, etc. So they are the biggest in Dubai. The ICD are the biggest in Dubai. 1.4 trillion. Endless pockets, guys. Endless pockets. That's what we need. something like that. Someone with an endless pocket. That's what we need at Manchester United, guys. We really do need something like that. Endless pockets is the way forward, guys. Absolutely. That is what it's all about, guys. I hope that some of this comes to fruition. And obviously, I spoke last week about no smoke without fire. Things happen for a reason. And, obviously, it's all cliche, but they do happen for a reason. And when notable personnel talk about investments, in particular the UAE, they don't mess around. They do invest. And they are very serious people when they invest, of course, guys. And I've just heard today that Saudi Arabia are going to build a skyscraper twice the size of the Burj Khalifa. This is the sort of things they do. This is the sort of mentality they have out there to be the best. And obviously in the UAE, they have Dubai and they have Abu Dhabi. I think it'd be very, very interesting between Abu Dhabi and Dubai. You have Abu Dhabi who own Man City and Dubai who own Manchester United. I think that will be an absolute interesting one going forward there. But lots of positive noises coming out here in the UAE. Lots of news outlets are reporting that Manchester United could quite possibly be invested by UAE, by Dubai. And also lots of interest in regard to the Glazers and their 2027 preparations. And maybe they're going to sell, maybe. And guys, look, at the end of the day, I've never been one to talk about business, talk about money and finances. It's not my thing. I mean, when I was growing up, I supported Manchester United Football Club. You know what I mean? It was a football club. That's what I loved about us. We just talk about football and we were successful. Ultimately, since we haven't been successful, since we've been owned by the Glazers, we haven't had a chance to just thoroughly concentrate on football. It's always been the outside noises around the football club and stuff like that. But guys, ICD, Legatum, they are two companies to keep an eye out on. Of course, there are other consortium out there that could possibly invest as well. Nothing has been solid. Nothing has been confirmed. Sheikh Jassim Hamid is still very, very interested in Manchester United as well in Qatar. He's still very, very interested in Manchester United, of course. And when I went to Qatar, I believe in July, and I spoke to a few people high up, actually, and I kept it. Obviously, in Qatar, they want to keep. They're very secretive. They're very low key. As with Sheikh Jassim Hamid, he's a very low key gentleman. He doesn't really put himself out there, like some people do, i.e. Jim Ratcliffe and that. They don't put themselves out there like that. So, and they all told me that there's still a possibility Manchester United could still sell the club, of course. And look, guys, it's a blessing. It's a blessing because we're getting news. We're getting positive news around Manchester United. And I think that's a very, very good thing, of course, guys. Absolutely. Let me get into your comments real quickly. Good morning, Tyborg. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, guys. I think what is happening is that the Glazers are having talks behind Surgeon's back. And even if the sale doesn't happen, this could lead to problems. Absolutely, Tyborg. Absolutely. It breaks the trust barrier, doesn't it? It breaks the trust barrier. Now, look. I'm not like clued on in regards to money and finances and things like that. But what I do know is that the Glazers selling this football club will lead to all kind of repercussions in regards to the Ineos, in regards to their tenure at Man United. Could it be the end of Ineos? Could that be it? Could them selling their share? Because obviously this is always going to be a collaboration. And it seemed like a big collaboration. It is, because obviously there's the regeneration project. They're working in it together in tandem. And I believe that the Glazers brought in Ineos to sort of solidify this regeneration project, because obviously he has contacts in the UK. And if the Glazers do end up setting up, it does kind of hint to me that this regeneration project isn't quite as forthwith as we all thought it would be. And I would think that, I would think that there's something going on already. I would think there's a little bit of hostilities already. I have the feeling that there is a little bit of hostilities. I have a feeling there is a little bit of back chat and stuff like that. When you put billionaires together, there's always going to be disagreements. There's always going to be disagreements. I brought in the film yesterday. I brought in the film Trading Places. And I was talking about Trading Places, about the two billionaires who put a bet on if they can make a homeless man run a multi-billion company, and that's what it is. And this is the way billionaires are. They're petty, right? And when you have billionaires and ego as well, remember billionaires, when you have a rich person, they've all got this big ego. Every single one of them wants to do better than anyone else. And money's never enough. No amount of money is ever enough, you know? And obviously, you know, that goes with Jim Ratcliffe, and that goes with the Glazers as well. Now, I think it's very interesting the way this has come out. I think it's very interesting the way out of the blue. It was out of the blue. Let's be real, guys. This tweet, obviously from Turkey, Al Sheikh, it was kind of out of the blue. We weren't expecting anything, and this is what makes me think: is there something going on? Because this is not like the original takeover when we had, you know, loads of people talking about it, and it was just something to jump on, something to talk about, to get clicks and likes and stuff like that, you know. I just feel like this was out the blue, and why would he say that as someone of his stature, who has already got a multi-trillion company, of course, in the Middle East? And it sort of made me think that there's an element of truth to this. Whether it happens in 2026 or 2027, Laurie Whitwell's talking about 2027. I mean, it does seem like there's something going on behind the scenes, and I would love that to happen, of course. Big up UK Rap, hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up Tyborg, of course, guys. I know they have the right to talk potential buyers, but it doesn't feel fair. Ineos is surprised by all this, and I expect the problems from now on. I wouldn't like this if I was to Jim. No, of course you wouldn't. Of course, Tyborg, absolutely you wouldn't. But this is the Glazers, Tyborg. You know, the Glazers have destroyed this football club. This is what they've done over the last 20 odd years. They've ripped us apart, including our coveted stadium, Old Trafford. You know, and you know, you can't trust people like that. I don't trust Ineos, right? But I agree with Tyborg here. I agree that, you know what, it is a little bit sly. It is a little bit bad in regards to the relationship between the two. Obviously, this could break down. This could be the end of it. This could be the end of the relationship because, as I said, there's no smoke without fire. And if Ineos are seeing this, if Jim Ratcliffe is seeing this, he's going to be like, what's going on here? Why are all these rumors spreading, you know? And why is this gentleman on 7 million followers on Twitter talking about this? Do you know what I mean? And it is very, very interesting, you know? Big up Tyborg, great comment. Good morning, Sal. Good morning, everyone. Might be doing well. Is something in this ownership thing? I hope it's true. Let's hope so, my friend. Absolutely. Good morning, Sal. All I got is a free turkey. I'll shake my bargain bucket yesterday. Pick up my marketing. Absolutely. There you go. That's the Finnish owner. Absolutely. I said that yesterday. Morning, Sal. Have a good day, bro. Have a good day, William. I hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. Of course. Sal, is there any truth about Wharton to Liverpool? Look, you know what? In regards to Adam Wharton, mate, Adam Wharton's on the market, not only with Manchester United. I did say that there's many teams going to be after Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton will be staying until the summer. Adam Wharton will not be leaving in January. He's already got a gentleman's agreement with Crystal Palace, Liverpool, and Real Madrid. Real Madrid are looking to bolster their midfield at the moment. So keep an eye out for Real Madrid with Adam Wharton. If Real Madrid come calling, I'm sure that Adam Wharton is going to be enticed by Real Madrid, isn't it? So that is something to keep an eye on. Now, let me get into a bit of transfer news, of course. It was reported yesterday that Carlos Baleba wants to hand in a transfer request in January. Now, guys, I did speak about this. How many times? How many times did I speak about this? And these journalists are mentioning it now. You know, I spoke about this weeks ago that Carlos Baleba will be handed in a transfer request in January. He's already, it's not January. He's already said he wants to leave the football club. He's already spoken that he wants to leave the football club. He didn't meet up with Manchester United representatives for no reason. He wants to leave. He wants to be transfer listed. The problem is that he should have done all this months and months ago, or maybe in the not months ago, but maybe in the transfer window, he should have done this, which would have obviously pushed through the deal. Now, obviously, there's journalists out there that want to try, or I wouldn't call them journalists, I call them aggregators out there who want to try and act like they were the first to say it. So what they will do, they'll say something that's already true, that's already been said for the likes of me, Ben Jacobs, all these people. They'll say something like that because they know there's a possibility. They basically putting their head on the line. Now, it's quite obvious that Carlos Baleba wants to leave Brighton and Hove Albion. It's quite obvious that he wants to leave. And Manchester United have turned his head. And I've said this a couple of times over the last few weeks. Manchester United have turned his head. And Manchester United could possibly go in with a bid for Carlos Baleba. Whether that be in January, whether that be in the summer, it remains to be seen. But this is where we go, isn't it? You know, at the end of the day, what people say on their Twitter accounts because Ornstein got paid to mention his name, by the way. You know, what they say on their Twitter account, they say might be, could be, if. What I'm going to say to you now is that Carlos Baleba won't be playing for Brighton next season. That's what I'm going to tell you, 100%. I'm telling you right now. He doesn't want to play for Brighton. He wants to leave Brighton and Hove Albion. Who he's going to go to remains to be seen. Now, I did bring in the situation of his performances at Brighton. His performances at Brighton are very, very important, because the more he underperforms, the less likely Brighton are going to get the money that they request. You know, so every single game, like I said last week, his valuation is 56.7 million now. 56.7 million. They were talking about 115 million over the summer window. 115 million. Do you know what I mean? So the more he underperforms, the less likely Manchester United are going to make a bid. So it's up to him. It's up to him. But it's pretty obvious that Brighton want to sell quickly. Brighton do want to sell in January. I spoke about that weeks ago. They do want to sell in January. And Baleba wants to leave. And it's pretty obvious, you know, that Baleba wants to leave. Baleba doesn't want to stay at Brighton. And I understand that. He wants to come to Manchester United. He wants to go to a bigger club. And that is perfectly understandable. Now, we have to understand that the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Arsenal, City and Chelsea are also going to be in for the likes of Baleba. They're going to be in for the likes of Adam Wharton, players of that ilk that we need, to be honest with you. We need that to rebuild our midfield, because that is the biggest problem in our team, I feel, is our midfield. We need that, and we have to act quickly. We have to act quickly. Now, in regards to players that are leaving, Manchester United do not want to sell Kobe Mainoo. They don't want to sell Kobe Mainoo. However, Kobe Mainoo wants first-team football. So here we're left with a bit of conundrum in regards to what do we do with Kobe Mainoo. And if Kobe Mainoo does go out on loan or is sold, is that a possibility of Man United bringing Baleba? Look, I don't think Man United are going to spend much money in January, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. The only thing I can envision that Man United will do is bring in a loan deal, like Ruben Neves or someone of that ilk, Conor Gallagher, someone of that ilk. I don't think Man United are going to be spending much money in January. I really don't think that. I think, obviously, because of the fiscal year, FFP and PSR. On the flip side, Manchester United did bid 55 million for Baleba, which was a ridiculous amount of money, but in regards to too low, they still have that money there, don't they? They still have that money there. And I wouldn't trust anything in regards to, as I said at the beginning of the show, I wouldn't trust anything in regards to billionaires, and I wouldn't trust anything in regards to they're broke, because you know what billionaires do. They give the illusion that they're broke when they're actually not broke. And obviously, Jim Ratcliffe did bid 5 billion for Chelsea, didn't he? Where's that money gone at the end of the day? Now, it would be absolutely fantastic if Manchester United managed to bring in a Carlos Baleba in January. That would be an absolute game changer for me. My favourite player is Adam Wharton. I think Adam Wharton is the type of player that Sir Alex Ferguson would have purchased. He's that kind of player. He's that Michael Carrick-esque kind of player. And I'm not just saying that because he's an England international, etc. But I just feel like he's got those characteristics, you know, can break up play, can pass the ball, aggressive. That kind of player, I feel like will fit Manchester United better where we are at the moment. Of course, the dream is to have Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton at the football club. Imagine that would be an absolute game-changing midfield, wouldn't it? I actually feel that would be a title-challenging midfield. I really do think that, you know. And let's wait and see. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of rumours. January is the time we have to wait. Of course, it's not long to go, guys. Time flies when you're having fun, isn't it? There is a long way to go. But one thing's for certain, we're going to be exhausted, guys, in this next few months, because obviously we got news about the takeover, we got news about transfers, all that shebang, all that jazz. We got a lot of things going on at Manchester United, and as usual, should I say. But keep it Stretford Post, guys. Here's where it is. Here is where you find the news first. I'm over here in the UAE, so any bit of news I get, I will pose it to you. I will give it to you guys, and I will let you guys know what the updates are over here. I'm going to be fighting tooth and nail to get that information, guys, over here in regards to Manchester United. Of course, is a very attractive proposition for the UAE to own both Manchester United and Manchester City, to buy against Abu Dhabi. You know what I mean? It's interesting, and it's all friendly competition, isn't it, at the end of the day? And I would really like that. That would be fabulous. I mean, I do live in Manchester City territory. I do live in Abu Dhabi, but, you know, maybe we could take over. Who knows? Let's wait and see. Ephraim Sal said many times, I can't believe a guy of a football a caliber would talk about such without a reason. Something exactly, Tyborg. You know, and obviously I know Eddie Hearn. I know him from his Leighton Orient days. I know his dad Barry Hearn, and he's very close to Taki Al Sheikh. And I know for a fact that this Taki Al Sheikh doesn't gospel. It doesn't talk crap. I mean, there was that PR in regards to the Mohammed Salah shirt and stuff like that, and all that jazz. But in regards to this, and then for him not only to say that tweet, but also to clarify, also to say, just to let you know, it wasn't me who's buying the football club, but they are about to sell the football club. And the guys, I hope it's better than the last ownership and stuff like that. And also you look at the comments on that tweet and look who's commenting. The important people, I don't think they'll go out their way to do that. There is something going on, absolutely, Tyborg. And I wouldn't brush it off. I mean, obviously, there's some people out there a little bit pessimistic. Some people are pro-Glazers. I don't know why, but there are who deny it. Oh, well, no one's going to buy it for 5 billion. No one's talking about 5 billion at the moment. This is a buzz number that people are talking about. 5 billion, 5 billion, 5 billion. This is one of those numbers that they just threw out there. No one knows how much the football club is going to cost. However, if this regeneration project is hitting a snag, if it's not going according to plan, then the valuation is going to decrease, because obviously the Glazers only wanted to sell the football club for 10 billion plus. It's because of this regeneration project. Because if you buy the club from the Glazers, you're going to have this regeneration project to look forward to as well. And this is what they were looking at. You know, that's why they overvalued Manchester United. This is why they put an astronomical amount of money on Manchester United's head, even though Manchester United are valued about 4 or 5 billion. Now, if this regeneration project is not working out the way they planned, then obviously they'll know before everyone else, and they would reduce the price, and Man United could be sold for about 5 billion. Absolutely, they could. And what that does for Ineos, I don't know. I don't know what that does for Ineos, but it doesn't look good, bruv. However, I would say that I wouldn't mind, guys. I know it's not ideal, but I wouldn't mind that the Glazers, that the investment consortium buy the football club and keep Ineos there for the footballing side of things in regards to football transfers, etc., etc. However, knowing Abu Dhabi, knowing Dubai, knowing Sharjah, knowing UAE in general, they generally want to buy the club. They would want to buy the club fully. They won't want any partial investments and stuff like that. The only thing, as we said, is that are they going to invest in the stadium? Is it to do with the stadium? That could be a thing. Because we're looking at the government investing in the stadium in England, in the UK. The government, through the taxpayers' money, by the way, investing in the stadium in England. Now, maybe that has been declined. Maybe that's been declined. Maybe their regeneration project has not gone through as planned. And maybe they're looking at the UAE to invest in that stadium. That could be a thing as well. So this is something I'm also hearing, that it could be the investment in the stadium. They could be putting money in the stadium. However, the noises I've heard over this last 24 hours is that, yes, Dubai do want Manchester United. Qatar still want Manchester United. Sheikh Jassim as well. Getting into a bidding process. I mean, okay, great. We've been here before. So keep an eye out for 2027, guys. Obviously, this is going to rumble on for months and months. It isn't going to be straightforward, as we know with the Jim Ratcliffe situation. It went on and on, didn't it? At the end of the day, guys. So it's going to be interesting. There's never a dull day with Manchester United, of course. Good morning, Sanjay. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Absolutely. Good morning, Benny. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Agomigi. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see everyone in the house today. Let me just scroll up. I missed a few here. Guys, I missed a few here. Don't forget to smash a like, guys, on the channel. If you guys can kindly do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ogmigi, yes. If it's true that it's the best news I can hear, big up, Ogmigi. Hope you're well. Apparently, there is real talk of the takeover. Yes, there is. Guys, let me just tell you something. I'm in the UAE, just to remind you guys, right? So there are other content creators out there guessing. Guess what? I actually didn't do a show yesterday. I was trying to find that information, and that's what it is. I'm over here, guys. So, you know what I mean? There you go. Yeah, leave it to the experts. Apparently, if there is real talk of the takeover, the Glazers must notify the stock exchange regardless if they're selling or not because of the share prices. Not necessarily. They don't have to announce anything if they don't want to, because they could be thinking about it. It could be a gentleman's agreement between two people. Nothing needs to be announced. It could be a discussion. And that's it. And nothing could be agreed. Until it's agreed, nothing is going to be set in stone, and then that would affect the share prices, of course, Don't be surprised if it does happen, though. Don't be surprised if you do see a change in the share price, of course. If it does get announced, probably has already changed, to be honest with you. But let's wait and see. It is early days. Absolutely. Irfan. Good morning, Irfan. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Good to see the legends in the house, of course, guys. The real legends, of course. Morning, Percy. I would like a proper full sale instead of investment. I think we all would like that, Chow. But one thing we have to understand is this, right? If, for argument's sake, Dubai or Qatar or Saudi Arabia came in with an offer for Man United and they bought 20%, for example, from the Glazers, it's better than nothing. I know the Glazers will still be just about majority shareholders, but if they chipped away at their ownership 20%, then yeah, look, it's better than nothing. However, I would say that, as I said earlier, the UAE do not buy things partially. They do not buy things on percentages. They buy the full thing, the full shebang, the whole club. That's what they will do. And let's fingers crossed. Let's hope that something materializes. Let's hope something materializes. Obviously, Turkey Al Sheikh said it might not happen, but you know what? There is good news coming out of it, and he did say that he hopes that it is a better ownership than the previous one. Of course, absolutely. Hello, Gary. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Of course, good to see you. Big up, Irfan. Ineos is aware about the drag-along clause. The Glazers have the right to source investors. Yep. I'm also sure there is a new manager. It ties with the latest development. Look, everything in regards to Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe will be declared. Everything will be in the open. Jim Ratcliffe won't be oblivious to what's going on at the moment, and that is obviously whether he likes it or not. That's business at the end of the day, guys. So that is the way it is. There won't be a new manager either, Irfan, no. In regards to Ruben Amorim, no. At the moment, obviously, I'm hearing that they like Ruben Amorim over here. They like him and feel that the situation, the circumstances haven't been quite fair on him. And I agree with that, absolutely. Don, what's going on? I have a problems for some time. Ineos pushing for new stadium, knowing funding would be difficult with Glazers there, with 1 billion debt, knowing going to... Look, at the end of the day, you know what? They're going to have to rely on investors for this stadium. This is what is going to happen, absolutely. Now, Ineos can afford the stadium. They've got the money to do it, but I don't think they're going to do it with their own money, unfortunately. They're going to look for government funding. Now, what I'm hearing is that the government funding is not as guaranteed as it first was. Now, obviously, you have to apply for government funding, etc. The Glazers wrote a letter to the government of Manchester, the mayor of Manchester, 2017, 18, around that time, and they were looking for this regeneration project for a very, very long time. So let's wait and see what happens, guys. There's a lot that could possibly happen. £1 trillion transfer. I think that would affect, big up, Darren. I think that will affect FFP and PSR. Maybe just a theory. It might just affect PSR somewhat. Big up UK, Darren. Hope you're doing well. That would be lovely, though. Hello, mate. Looking fresh. Thank you, mate. Thank you for the compliment. Good. Big up, Jaffa. Hope you're doing well. Hoping all goes well with the Sauda Cup. I hope so. I hope. What I want is what's best for Manchester United. Now, I couldn't fathom how there were people during the takeover process that didn't want a full sale. People exposing themselves to who they are. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, lies were told, manipulation, slanderous rumors were going around. And this is what I was shocked about what happened, because this was all about, ultimately, about Manchester United Football Club. What is best for Manchester United Football Club? And now I think all those people that were pro-Ineos are starting to think in their head. They should do, even if they do it in private, in the shadows, whatever they're doing, I think they are thinking to themselves, maybe, just maybe, Ineos wasn't the right choice. You know, and I would applaud them if they had come out and admit it, but they won't. They won't. You know what I mean? Mark, I will buy United for a tenner when the Glazers get us relegated. Are there no rich people? Mark, Man United, even if they got relegated, mate, will not decrease in price, mate. Let me just confirm that right now, guys. There's a lot of people who say, if Man United get relegated, we'll sell to the Glazers. Nah. Man United will still sell season tickets. Man United will still be profitable. Man United will make other further investments to make more money, to cover the money that they will lose from Premier League money. Man United will still be there. Man United will still be there. They will sell their best players and just bring through the youth team, the under 21s. That's what they'll do. They'll find a way to compensate. They'll find a way to compensate, of course. Big up, Darren, of course. It's 324 like, hit the like. Thank you so much, Earthfan. Please, guys, don't forget to smash a like on the button, guys. Guys, we need to don't forget to smash a like on the button. Yeah, absolutely. That whatever tickles your fancy. Don't forget to smash like 50 likes minimum on Breaking Dawn, guys. That is what we do on Breaking Dawn. It is 50 likes minimum. Of course, Irene, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. Pray to God it will happen. Have enough of the greedy glazers. Me too, my friend. The Ineos are not the right people too. They aren't successful in any sports they're involved in. Absolutely. Facts, my friend. Facts. You come into the show and you spit the facts. Absolutely, mate. Dusan, Nice, both failed in look, because when you look at the French league is not a competitive league. You have PSG, Marseille, Lyon. That's it. You know, there's not much competition there, and they can't break into the top three. Do you know what I mean? And if you invest in these, surely they become the best three teams in France. I mean, and this is what we're talking about, isn't it? I actually believe they're going to end up selling these, and that's how I feel. I'm surprised and shocked we haven't done any deals with Nice in regards to players coming in, players coming out, etc., etc. We got Lausanne in Switzerland who got relegated as well. So they've not really done really well in regards. They haven't got a track record of success at football teams, have they? No, we can't, Darren. Absolutely not. And we shouldn't have done that anyway. And I did say this in the summer. I did say in the summer that we have to be careful. We have to be calm in regards to Baleba. We have to say, okay, he had one good season, right? We can't be throwing money at Carlos Baleba willy-nilly. Do you know what I mean? And look, lo and behold, we've been proven right, haven't we? Big up, Darren. I'm praying Ineos and the Glazers are falling apart. So Jim will sell his shares back and the Glazers will sell up. I've got no problem with that. I couldn't give a toss what happens to them. Me neither, William. Me neither. I couldn't either. They are all the enemy. They're all the enemy dressed in sheep's clothing, whatever it is. Guys, that they are. They all are affiliated to each other, and they both went to bed with each other and they both are enemy of the football club. None of them have the best interest of Manchester United at heart. If Ineos really had the best interest of Manchester United at heart, they would have cleared the way for a full sale. That's what they would have done. If he really supported Manchester United, if Jim Ratcliffe really supported Manchester United fan, born and bred, he would have cleared the path for Qatar to take over. Whoever would have taken over on a full sale. Do you know what I mean? Takes off the chains of this beautiful club. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Let me just say good morning to the legend that is Daryl. What's going on, Daryl? Hope you're doing well, brother. Could be as Baleba is doing it to drop his price just to come to us. Could it be part of the plan to leave? I don't know. It's very dangerous Daryl, to do something like that, to underperform for your football club. It does show a lack of professionalism. It does show a lack of how would I say it? How would you say it? Morality. I don't think he would do that. I just think that's too risky. And to reduce his price like that, I mean, nah. If Baleba truly wanted to leave Brighton, all we needed to do is come out and put a transfer request in the summer, isn't it? And just say, I want to leave. And that's all. He didn't need to down tool, he just needed to put in a transfer request. Now, obviously, there's rumors about a transfer request. I did say this weeks ago that there is rumors about a transfer request, blah, blah, blah. I'm not surprised. But in football, you have to be honest. You have to be honest, and he had to be honest with himself. He had to be honest that he wanted to go to Manchester United, and he had to come out and say that. This is what Brian Mbeumo did. Brian Mbeumo said he wants to go to Manchester United. That's what he did. Cunha said he wants to go to Manchester United. That's what he did. That's what you do. That's how you push through moves. That's how it happens. That's what, even though people don't agree with it, even Isaac did it at Liverpool. If you don't agree with it, it's the way to go about things, unfortunately. Otherwise you're not going to get your move. Niceties don't work in football anymore. Loyalty don't exist in football anymore. So you just have to open your mouth and say, look, listen, I want to go to Man United. It's my big move. Let me go, please. And that is what he should have done. However, I would say that maybe Manchester United didn't have the money. And maybe Manchester United were telling Carlos Baleba, look, we can't afford you at the moment, but we're going to come back in for you from January or summer. That could be a thing as well. A billion Germany bought an old castle that was destroyed by the French, refurbished it and gave it back to the town. There were a good-hearted billionaire, but we've got the wrong one, the USA ones. Yeah, look, there's a decent USA billionaire at Chelsea, of course, but they're not many. It's you got to look at their background and you got to look at what they do, where they're from, what they represent, and that's what you have to look at when you look at billionaires. All right, and we all know what they represent, and they're not good ones. And as you said there, Tybo, there are good ones out there. We haven't had that, unfortunately. Man United deserve the best. They deserve the best billionaire, so to speak. You know what I mean? In fact, Man United deserve to be owned by the fans, but it's never going to be like that now, is it? It's been far too long that we've been owned by the Glazers. And look, you know what? Multi-billionaires can't buy the Glazers, buy the shares from the Glazers, let alone fans, you know? Unfortunately, we have got probably the worst ownership pound for pound in the world, I feel. I feel pound for pound, we have the worst ownership in the world, the Glazers. I think they're the worst. They're the worst. And it's been proven. You know, look what they've done to our great football club. You know, imagine this, guys. Imagine this, right? In 2005, right, we were taken over by a multi-billionaire, a sugar daddy, whoever it is, a trillionaire, right, who didn't take out a loan out of the bank and pull it on the club, who bought it cash, who bought the club cash. Imagine where Manchester United would be right now. Just imagine that. Imagine where we would be right now. Imagine we'll probably have a new stadium. We'll probably have new infrastructure, hotels, you name it, a lot, a new football team, like, guys, we'll be more successful, wouldn't we? We'll be we'll still be there. Unfortunately, we got the worst ownerships in football. And that is one thing that I will say to Sir Alex. Sir Alex, mate, what did you do with that, man? Allow the horse ego, man. Allow the horse ego. That's what I would say, you know, because it was all about horses at the end of the day. Horses for courses. AX, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Baleba seems to be down tools just to push for a move to United. Is that a case? We're better off without attitudes like that. He can do it. He can do it at United as well. Just an opinion. No, Alex, you're absolutely right, my friend. You're absolutely right. I agree with that. That is a great comment because I've said this a couple of times over this week that if look for argument's sake, if Baleba signed for Manchester United, right? And Real Madrid come calling in a couple of years' time. You know, is he going to do the same to us? And that's exactly right. You know, look at Mark Gui at Crystal Palace, for example. Mark Gui had a here we go, right? From Fabrizio Romano, all right, at Crystal Palace going to Liverpool, right? And it fell through. Has Mark Gui underperformed? Has he down-tooled? No. He actually went out there and said, I love my teammates. I'm going to play for this football club and I'm going to make sure I win for this football club. That is what Mark Gui did. You know, that is what a proper professional does. Man United have had enough with mercenaries and bad attitudes, bad apples and stuff like that. We've had enough of them over the years, haven't we? We need players who want to play for Manchester United, but also at the same time are professional in their pursuit of playing for Man United. You know, I like Man United. I'm very flattered about Man United. They're in for me, but my team is Brighton and I'm going to push for Brighton and make sure that Brighton get the best, results possible this season. He hasn't come out once and said anything. There's all rumors. Baleba has not come out and said anything to the media. Nothing. Everything has been said behind it, people's backs. Everything has been said to agents, etc. You know, the meeting up with Manchester representatives at the end of September. And this month. It's going to be the end of this month. The meeting up with Manchester representatives. These are the things, you know. Now, Man United could quite possibly sign Baleba. I think it is a huge possibility that I might sign Baleba, but we also have to be very wary. You know, as well as my guy there said there, you know, you have to be wary of attitudes and personalities. Because when Sir Alex Ferguson used to purchase players way back when, one of the first things he did was talk about what your hobbies. Are you married? Do you have a girlfriend? What do you like to eat? Etc. etc. Those are the things he used to get to know the person. So that person could concentrate 100% on Manchester United and not have any outside influences. And I think this is where Man United have gone wrong over the years in regards to signing mercenaries and players that are just interested in brands and stuff like that. And I think this is where we've gone wrong. Now, it's very important now that Man United changed the record and actually sign players based on personality and based on, of course, who they are as a person, you know. Gary, I think the Glazers secretly know the United is a no-go, but they are trying to package United and that regeneration project to get a higher price. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. This is what they've done in the summer. This is what they've done. This is what a year ago, should I say. This is what they've done a year ago in regards to the generation project. This is in line to make billions. So this is their selling point, isn't it? You could make up to 10 to 20 billion on a regeneration project, a stadium, and blah, blah, blah. Put your branding all over the stadium. And this has not even been confirmed yet, guys, you know. Chat GTP images etc., tents, and whatever we've had in the media, nothing has been solid. Nothing has been out there and said official. Nothing has been done, So it could be a manipulation tactic to get more money. Of course it could be. However, as time goes on, people are starting to doubt this regeneration project. And there's no surprise about it. They're starting to doubt it. And of course, this will be a great time to sell Manchester United. Maybe just sell them now, for the highest price. Of course. I think there's an article about, you need to tune into Irfan. Yesterday, I spoke about it about Ronaldo and that. Irfan, everything you're saying, I've already spoken about. Benny, if Baleba does well for United and Real Madrid, come call in, does he down tools on United? I'd have my reservations now on Baleba. Yeah, exactly, Benny. Exactly. I reiterate about that stance. You need a player that, if he's playing well for Brighton right now, we'd be like, yeah, my goodness, I wish we had Baleba at the football club, etc. We'd be more excited about having Baleba at the football club. But if he's down tooling, what are we going to think? Oh, he's a bit of a prat, isn't he? That club, basically gave him an opportunity in the Premier League. You know what I mean? And he's, down tooling, Daryl, I hear that there's new stadium, but I hear that there is that no new stadium, but a refurb is the plan now, brother. I haven't heard anything solid in regards to the stadium. One thing I know is that I would love to stay at Old Trafford. And that is my case. That has been my stance since the beginning. I don't know why people got so giddy. Maybe new fans, I don't know, but they got very giddy and excited about a new stadium. I'm not excited about a new stadium. I'm only interested in Old Trafford. I know about Old Trafford. I know the history of Old Trafford. I know about Manchester United. I know the history about Man United. I'm not going to get excited by, concert stadium, a salad bowl of a stadium. It's not going to excite me. I'm sorry. And I would be absolutely delighted if we did refurbish Old Trafford, because I think that is who we are. That's our heritage. Real Madrid stay at the same place. Barcelona stay at the same place. The great clubs, Bayern Munich, the great clubs stay at the same place. Well, Bayern Munich didn't, but, Bayern Munich and Bayern Munich. And the great clubs stay at the same place, and I think that's what we need to do, at the end of the day. Tyborg, some fans are supporting Ineos purely because of political reasons. I don't care who they owners are, as long as they are doing fine and United prospers. Absolutely. My only objective is to see United back on top. Absolutely, mate. There's sinister reasons that some people were supporting Ineos to the bone, guys. Blindly, may I say, blindly supporting Ineos. And it was disgraceful. The real people and their real identities came out. I call them the part-time human rights activists, because they were throwing the human rights things out there. They're throwing all sorts of slanderous rumors out there that Sheikh Jassim Hamid doesn't exist, for example, when he obviously does at the World Cup final, of course, like that. And no apologies come out about that either. No one has said anything about that, have they? They're going incredibly quiet about that. So yeah, look, I only want what's best for Man United. And initially, whether it was Apple, Amazon, Qatar, whoever it was, I wanted the Glazers at the football club and I wanted a full sale, whoever it was. That is what I wanted, because that is what is best for Man United's future. A Man United without debt, a Man United without the Glazers. Imagine that. We're already self-sustainable. We already make money. Imagine us without debt. That would be a sight to behold, wouldn't it? That would scare a lot of those rivals away, wouldn't it, guys? Absolutely. Darren, whatever happens to the stadium, we need 100, because we need more than that. Darren, I remember when I first got my season ticket, I had to wait 8 years for my season ticket. And nowadays, there's so many people. There's a waiting list of years in the season ticket. I think Man United need 150,000 stadium, even more. I do believe that, honestly. I think Man United do need 100,000 minimum has to be the case. Has to be. We have to be competing with the best in the world. We have to be competing. We have to be, because we're so spoken about. We're the biggest club in the world, and Old Trafford is always sold out, whether it is a League Cup tie against Grimsby or it is a Champions League encounter against AC Milan. It's always going to be sold out, isn't it? Ogmigi, I blame Brighton. How can you pay someone on only 12K on his sale and then refuse to sell? Get the deal done. Baleba would be great for us. No, I don't blame Brighton at all. Brighton hold the stance. If Baleba doesn't come out and say that I want to leave, then what's the point? They're going to keep him. At the end of the day, you still have to act professional, mate. You still have to act professional. He's not acting professional at Brighton. We can't be saying that, just get him at Man United, this and that, because he's excited. I'm excited about Baleba. No, that's not how it works. You can't be doing that. You still have to act professional at your football club. Man United won't buy you otherwise. You still have to be professional. You know, oh, he's only on 12K. Then ask for a new contract. Go out there, ask, I want a new contract at Brighton. Go out there and they'll give him a new contract. You know, at the end of the day, all this like, oh, you know what? I don't care if he plays poorly for whole seasons. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. It's wrong. You don't do that. You play what you do. Look at Mark Gui. Look what he's doing. You play for your football club and you perform for your football club. That's what you do. You know, you don't say, oh, it's Brighton's fault. No, it's your fault, mate. You didn't come out with saying that I want to go to Man United. Did he come out and say he wants to go to Man United? Did he put in a transfer request? Did he put in a transfer request? No, he didn't. So what can Brighton do? What can Brighton do? What do you want Brighton to do? He's not talking. He's a mouse, little mouse, mousy. That's what he is. He's not talking. He's got to open his mouth, and that's what if he wants it. At the end of the day, you can't be celebrating incompetence. You can't be celebrating down tooling because that is exactly what the problem is at Manchester United right now. Exactly what the problem is at Man United. Good morning, Sean. Absolutely. Darren, I have to disagree with you, mate. You got to wake up to what the problem is at Man United, mate. No worries, Sir Jim. Sitting on 55 million like a mother hen on an egg, keeping it nice and warm until we get it. Yeah, absolutely. Big up. Tyborg. I can't understand why would the British government do this project together with the Glazers in the first place. They must have seen what the family has done to England's greatest football asset. Exactly. And yeah, my feeling is about England and about the regeneration project. I think it's going to be rejected. I think it is going to be. I honestly think it's going to be rejected. I think we should have the Mexico model. You know, in Mexico, you can't invest in certain things and stuff like that. You know, certain people can't invest in certain things. And I think those people should fit under that bracket where they can't invest in that sort of thing at the end of the day. Guys. Efra, Bello, what's going on, Gigi? Offered to the greedy glaze yet. Nothing has been official yet, my friend. DJ Darks Knight, what's Garkus Knight? Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Big up yourself. Hangover United here. Hope our fans are well. Big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, DJ. Hope you're well. Very nice comment. Thank you so much, my friend. Good to see you, of course. Dan, it's a regeneration project for the surrounding area, not just the stadium. I repeat that the problem is Glazers being there with one. We know that, Dan. We know that. We know it's a regeneration project in regards to the state. That's why it's worth 10 billion, my friend. You know, hotels, franchises, concerts, the whole lot. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. That is what they're vying on. That's what they want. But will they get it? Will they get it? Is the question. Now, if there is a snag in regards to this regeneration project, I have a feeling that the Glazers are going to sell because this is their bread and butter. This is what they were banking on. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Absolutely. Guys, absolutely. My God, well, Mark, you are full of beans this morning. God, Mark, okay, absolutely hammered in here West Ham pub last night discussing how are you really? Big up, my friend. Bit confused about that, but big up yourself. Hope you're well, of course. Big up yourself. How did the FA approve the sale of the Glazers? They didn't buy the club with their own money. Boggles my mind. Didn't they evaluate the Glazers? They didn't care, mate. They didn't care. Unfortunately, now we missed the boat a little bit. Now this kind of buyout is illegal in England. It's illegal and it wouldn't be allowed now, you know. And it shouldn't have been allowed then. It should have been blocked. It should have been. But I don't think they really care about Man United. I think they want us to see us. They want to see Man United burn. That's what they want to see at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Big up GK. Big up yourself. 50 likes. Thank you, everyone. You absolute G's. Thank you, Ephraim. Big up yourself. I hope you're doing well. Absolutely. Good to see you. DJ Darks Knight. I am sold on Anderson now. Me too. Elliot Anderson. Adam Wharton. I don't like Barry's attitude. If it suits for a move, he's not the dude for us. Exactly. There's intelligent comment right there. Intelligent, getting excited about Baleba because he's your favorite player. It's not how you do things. It's all about attitude. If you understand what Manchester United about, DJ Darkest Night has just told you what Manchester United is all about. Attitude, mentality. Whether you're playing at Brighton or Man United, you give your all. You don't down tool. You do not down tool. They are paying your wages. They are feeding your family. You got 12 grand a week. How much did you get at Lille, mate? You know what I mean? No, at the end of the day, this is bad, isn't it? Big up, my friend. So it's finally starting to feel like the Glazers' grip is starting to loosen. Let's hope by 2027 these greedy are gone and the nightmare is over. I hope so, William. I really do hope so as well, my friend. That would be absolutely incredible if they left the club. I'll be absolutely delighted. It seems like these days it's more like a dream. But you know what? Because it's been so long and we've felt about this so passionately for so long, it's a bit like independence. This is what it's like. It's like a country's independence. And I think like we need to be independent of the Glazers. We need our independence back. We want our club back. That's what we want. And I feel that this is how it feels. You know what I mean? And it's been feeling like this for 20 years now. Glazers out all day long, full sale only. And that's what I've always been. And I've said this must have been about 1 million times by now. Full sale, Glazers out. Full sale, Glazers out. And you had some, I would call them idiots who were just happy with the Jim Ratcliffe because they're manipulated by his sob stories. And, I really do hope this happens, this comes into fruition because, we're getting older. We're getting old and we want to see Man United without the Glazers again. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that would be absolutely fantastic, of course. Absolutely. Good morning, Sal. Good morning, Ranjit. How you doing again? Hope you're doing well. Sal, I like Ineos and Sir Jim. They have made us better. No, they have not. I wish they were super loaded like the Arrows, but they're not. As Stuart, they have not made us better, my friend. They made us worse. Factually made us worse. Factually, we came 15th last season. We are not better. We're not better, mate. We're worse. Sorry, mate. So burst your bubble, Ranjit, but that is it. I only truth on here. Only truth. Guys. Look, if you lads, if you want to know what's happening, watch the stock market. United shares has risen about $1. Nothing yet, at least. Absolutely, it's only $1, but yeah, nothing's happened at least. Big up, Doc. Yeah, keep an eye on the stock exchange. I am absolutely. The Brighton manager takes players off at halftime all the time. He did it with Estepien, Welbeck, Ferguson, loads last year. We could be reading too much into it. That is true. Yes. Mark, absolutely. Obviously, it's Man United, isn't it, Mark? It's Man United. Man United always sell. Man United always create news, don't they, at the end of the day? The Glazers will sell for $5 billion. All right, big up, DJ. I hope so, my friend. I hope so. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed in the house, guys. Absolutely. Fergie71, big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. I don't want a state owning us, but unfortunately, because of the Glazers destroying us financially, we need the state ownership to bring club back. Yeah, Fergie71, look, I absolutely agree with you, my friend. I agree with you. And I said it before, that this is not our fault. This is not our fault. We did not make state ownership popular. We were self-sustainable, right? Unfortunately, the likes of Newcastle, Chelsea, Man City, not Chelsea so much, but Man City and Newcastle have made it imperative that you have state ownership now, that you have a multi-billionaire sugar daddy, wherever they are from. It doesn't matter, state ownership, Apple, Amazon, they're all from the same beast, my friend, right? Doesn't really matter. So we didn't want this. We didn't make this, right? But if Man United are going to compete, you either sink or you swim in this world, and we want to swim. We want to compete. So this is the only thing we can do. And then can you imagine a Manchester United without debt, with an owner with endless pockets? Who cares? I don't think we'll be thinking about state ownerships. You know what I mean? But when we're buying players and we're being successful, we'll be sitting there celebrating, my friends. We'll be sitting there celebrating. We're throwing our arms up in the air, etc. Do you know what I mean? It will be nice. Big up Fergie71. Absolutely. Isha Jim will not exist if someone comes in 5.8. Yeah, there we are. Big up, my friend. Sal, we have enough players who down tools. We do not need another one. Absolutely, Ephraim. I love Belabor. I'm a Belabor. People know I love Belabor. The amount of thumbnails I've done of Belabor. My goodness me, I am the Belabor thumbnail king. I've got Belabor on my thumbnail today. Guys, right? What it is that I look at things not from an emotional point of view. I look at things from a professional point of view. From a point of view that if a player is going to down tool, he will down tool for you. A leopard does not change his spots. That is exactly what it is. If Real Madrid come calling in a couple of years' time, Belabor's head's going to be turned. He's going to down tool for Man United as well. Believe that. They've done it to you. They do it to you. That is exactly life. Life right there in a nutshell. You have to be very naive, right, to think otherwise. You know what I mean? Big up, Ephraim. Wesley, good morning. How you doing, mate? Sal, do you think we would be the place where we are now if we had a full sale under the Sheikh Al Thani? No, we'd be much better, mate. We're much better. Let me give you an example, right? The atmosphere at Man United is bad. The atmosphere is bad. The atmosphere at United is terrible. That has come a lot because of the Ineos, the way they've done things. The way they've done things really badly, in my opinion, badly. And they have not improved Manchester United. I mean, the only thing they've done is made the Carrington better, which obviously was part of the deal with the Glazers to buy the football club, because the Glazers had to invest in that and they didn't want to do that. So obviously Ineos did that reluctantly, with a grimace, because they had to, because that's the only way they were going to get their 27%. Right? That needs to be remembered. So they haven't voluntarily done that themselves. If we had Jassim, Sheikh Jassim Hamid in the football club, well, number one, we have no debt, helps FFP and PSR. Our ability to buy players in the market will be absolutely astronomical. Probably would have bought a couple of midfielders in there, a right wing back, probably would have bought the strikers and attackers as well. And probably would have been in a far better position. Law of average, probably would be in a far better position right now. You know? Absolutely. It is all hypothetical, but we have to look at what is going to give you the best opportunity. For example, right? If you train for Olympic sprint, right? Are you going to have more of a chance of winning the Olympics than a person who's sitting there not training for the Olympic sprint 100 meters and eating KFC all day? You know what I mean? There's more of a chance that the guy training for the Olympic sprint is going to win, isn't it? You know what I mean? And that is exactly what we're talking about here. There's more of a chance that Sheikh Jassim Hamid, I'm sorry about the analogy, but there's more of a chance that Sheikh Jassim Hamid be successful. Really agree about Baleba. That's why I like Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson's come on leaps and bounds this season, and that's what we talk about professionalism, isn't it? We've seen it all. We've won it all a lot. Man United, and here we come. We're never going to stop. Big up, my friend. Big up, William. Absolutely. We're never going to stop, guys. We'll keep going. DJ, I love your passion for the club, Sal. So I was about getting the name wrong. I knew. No problem, DJ. Much love to you. I like your comments, mate. I like people with an intelligent, open-minded point of view about football. I don't like people who like to downplay the importance of professionalism at Manchester United, because that's where we come from. You've got to remember that players who come to this football club are standing on the shoulders of giants. When I think about Manchester United, I know many other content creators don't mention it, but I think about Sir Bobby Charlton, I think about Dennis Law, I think about George Best, I think about Duncan Edwards. Right? I think about people like that who play for this great football club. You know, and that's what I think about before I say anything. So I think about, right, you want to be successful, but you want to down tool to push for a move. You perform for your club, you're going to sign for Man United. You underperform for your club, you're not going to sign for Man United. It's as simple as that. And that's how it should be. That's how it always should be, in my opinion. Big up, DJ. It's good to have you on board, my friend. Have a great day, everyone. Big up, Benny. Thank you again for coming in, my friend. Big up. Glazers, it's been a long journey, ain't it? Sal, bloody hell, we will rise again, mate, brother. It's been, it feels like 100 years, mate. It really does. And this is the thing. I want to clear Manchester United out of all the negativity out there. There's so much negativity going on at the moment, guys. There's so much of it happening at the moment, you know, and it'd be, it'd be like a huge weight off our shoulders if the Glazers left this football club. It really would be. It'd be absolutely incredible if they finally left this football club, you know. And let's hope that UAE do something. Let's hope. Wesley, morning, Sal. Big up, my friend. Does financial fair play rules work when the Arabs took over Newcastle? They had suddenly fair play rules when it happened to us. And yeah, look, yeah, we all know. They moved the goalposts, Wesley. We all know that. But Manchester United are in a lot of debt. And Man United is self-sustainable. The problem with Newcastle is that they don't make money. They don't make money. That was the problem in Newcastle. They're not self-sustainable. They don't sell shirts around the world. As much as Newcastle think they're a big club, they're not. They're big in Newcastle. They're big in Tyneside. That's where they're big. Manchester United are big globally. So Man United will be all right with FFP and PSR because obviously they sell jerseys. We accumulate our own money, which is why we can still spend 200 million in the transfer market, as well as having been 1.1 billion in debt. You know what I mean? And imagine this debt is cleared. Imagine our FFP rise and our PSR rise just through the roof. It'd be incredible. You know, it'd be a sight to behold, guys. It really would. DJ, I'm thinking UAE plus Ronaldo seems like it. I mean, that would be amazing, isn't it? Nostalgia all over the place. Absolutely. It would be amazing. Fergie, if possible, I'd swap Xerxes for Dumfries in January. I wouldn't mind that. Right wing back. be brilliant. Yeah, should have got him in the summer. Should have got a right wing back in the summer. I was speaking about it religiously in the summer. We need a right wing back. We need a right wing back. We need a right wing back. Non-stop. Do you know what I mean? Fergie, if it's true that we are asked for Sal, the Glazers have outsmarted Ratcliffe into getting him to build a new Carrington and get the government on his side for the regeneration project. You know what, Fergie? Absolutely. Absolutely. Imagine this is true, which I think there is an element of truth in it. Imagine this is true, right? They have schooled him. They played him. They played Man United, to be honest. When they purchased this football club, they played Man United. That's what they did. They don't care about Man United. They just cared about using us as a cash cow. And if they've done this, they've completely stepped on Jim Ratcliffe. Completely stepped on Jim Ratcliffe. You know what I mean? He's come in, he's built a new Carrington, and then he leaves. You know? Out of order, isn't it? But then again, Jim Ratcliffe could easily turn around and sell his shares for more. You know, he could do that as well. Who knows? When Bruno had the Saudi jerseys formed it that this happens, it may not mean, this happens, and I disagreed with it. And I said we should have sold Bruno. You know, this doesn't happen. It's professionalism, mate. It's professionalism. You don't just down tool, mate. You don't down tool. You do not down tool. Not at this football club. You know, not at Brighton, not at anyone. You don't down tool. Otherwise, you won't. It's unprofessional. And I said that about Bruno as well. I don't flip-flop from that. I wanted to sell Bruno. Bruno was disgraceful in his attitude, right? And Bruno should have been sold for the way he done things. Do you know what I mean? Stop thinking about, he's my favorite player. He's my favorite. Think about Manchester United. Ogmigi, go out there, research Man United. Go and research the Busby Babes. Go and research Man United, right? Go and research us because you obviously ain't got much clue. We do not sign players, mate, who have bad attitudes. We're done with that, pal. We're done with that. Bruno shouldn't be at this football club right now, and I said that back then. You know, just because he's your favorite player, he looks like you probably, this, that, whatever, you want to buy him, I'm being real with you guys. We don't want bad attitudes at this football club, regardless if he looks like you, regardless if he's a bad attitude, regardless if he's, whatever. You know, I don't care. I care about Manchester United. You know what I mean? I'm not bothered about anything else, Ogmigi. You know what I mean? And if he can't perform for Brighton, he would do the same for you, with us. You know what I mean? Sal, Sal, do you think UAE will buy? I mean, I hope so, Wesley. Let's wait. I mean, they will have to, because they will want the full club. Sal, did I hear we are a few games in Saudi? Weird if true. What happens if we get injuries? Madness. You know what's one thing that's worrying about DJ? We got the AFCON coming up. We got as well. We got Mbremo, Mazraoui, Ahmed playing in the AFCON as well. You know, and to be honest with you, it is worrying. I'll be honest. In regards to injuries, and this is why Man United need a squad, and I don't think Man United have a squad at the moment. You know what I mean? Big up, my friend. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Guys, big up, Wesley. Sal, I love your podcast as always on the spot on and huge Manchester United fan. My son is also your fan and Liverpool. Big up, my friend. Absolutely. Tyborg. Good to see Wesley. Cybo, Sir Jim has gone into this deal with the Glazers, fully aware of how bad the owners they were. Absolutely. And I have absolutely no sympathy for him. Me neither. Absolutely, Tyborg. He should have been smarter back then. Yeah. He went to bed with the devil, didn't he, Tyborg? You sleep with the devil, what's going to happen? You're going to get burned. And that's exactly what's happened, isn't it? At the end of the day, guys, you're going to get burned, you know? And this is what's happened, guys, you know? This is... I mean, if they do that to him, you know, I ain't got no sympathy for him either. I'm not going to have any sympathy for him. It's just, you know, I'm done with him. You know, he got in the way of a Sal. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Absolutely. Wesley, divorce. Big up Tyborg. Absolutely. I'm lucky my wife supports Napoli, so it's out the way. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate everyone. Whether you agree or not, I really appreciate everyone who's joined me today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video. All that sweet stuff, guys. I will always read out everyone's comments. That's what I do, guys. And even if I disagree. But one thing we have to understand, and I think it's very important that people understand about this football club. I think it's very important that even when I started supporting this football club, I went out there and I've done my research about the greatness of this football club, the people that sacrifice themselves for this football club. We want players at this football club that are professional, regardless who they're playing for. And, you're going to be playing, like, whether you're playing for Brighton or you're playing for Crystal Palace. You have to be professional if you want to play for this football club. And this is the culture that we're trying to change at this football club, the down-tooling culture that at this football club. Bruno needs to leave this football club. I said it, and I don't want any more Brunos coming in and doing the same thing in a couple of years' time, guys. That is my stance on that. But I appreciate everyone for their comments and their efforts. We all have a goal, and that is a successful Manchester United. That is the boat we're on at the moment, and that is the boat that everyone should be on in regards to this football club. And I can't wait, guys, until the Glazers are gone. I really hope so. Lots of positive noises coming out. I hope that it happens soon. I really do, guys. And we need another striker and a wing back. Yeah, we need midfield as well, Wesley. Definitely. We definitely need a midfield. Right wing back, maybe a covering defense as well, Wesley. You never know. We probably need a covering defense as well. We've lost Lindelof and we lost Evans as well. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, But we have to look at things objectively. We have to look at things fairly from every single angle, not just looking at things from a sinister point of view. Because a lot of people do that. He talks like me. He dresses like me. He looks like me. And blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And I relate to him because he's like me. And we shouldn't be like that in Man United. I relate to him because he's a bloody good footballer and he's professional. That is how we should do things at this football club. And that is how it should always be, guys. Absolutely. Now, let's wait and see what happens in January. I got a feeling that a lot is going to happen in January. A lot is going to happen in January. A lot is going to, materialize very, very soon, guys, I would say. And we'll have to wait and see. Exciting times. Let's wait and see, guys. I'm Sal Warner. This is indeed Breaking Dawn. And I will see you later on for Chatterbox. Don't forget to join me for that. Don't forget to smash the like on the button, guys. Smash a like on the stream, should I say. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to put your notifications on in case I go live, in case anything breaks. Of course, guys, thank you very much. You're all absolute legends. And I'll see you for Chatterbox later on. Take it easy. Peace.